Hey guys, how's it going? Just wanted to record part two of the video I posted a few days ago. And this time, what we're going to do is set up a database for our app using Supabase. Basically, my understanding of a database is that you can kind of have like this giant spreadsheet where you can have a record of all the users and all the activities that they've performed on the platform and so on and so forth. Okay, so in the last video, what we had done was we had set up this text to image generator. I think in this video, the goal would be to set up a database for it. So we can keep it pretty simple, maybe have like just a database that records every image that's generated on this platform. So every time you log in, or if you refresh the page, you can have like a gallery view of all the images you've generated. The platform I'm using for the database is Supabase. In my experience, it's been the easiest to set up with Bolt. Not that I've tried too many other platforms, but it just seems like the setup was pretty easy and I'm like familiar with that platform. All right, fairly wordy prompt, but basically I've asked it, I want to set up a Supabase database for this app, add a dashboard view where I can see a gallery of all the images I've generated in the past, store these images on Supabase, and let me set this up, right? So let's see what it does. So I've been using Bolt for a long time and it still amazes me when it does this. It just feels like magic, frankly. I didn't really have a ChatGPT moment. This definitely had a bigger impact on me than the ChatGPT moment. Anyway, it has to install like a bunch of dependencies for Supabase to run. And the beautiful thing about Bolt is like every time it needs you to take an action off platform, it's actually going to give you steps to do that. So it's not like you're running blind and like if you use ChatGPT for some of these other platforms, it'll literally give you prompts like, okay, see, there you go. So you need to create a Supabase project at supabase.com, create a new table called images with columns, create a storage bucket called generated images, and get your Supabase URL and on key and stuff like that. Let's go to Supabase super quick. I already have an account, but again, fairly simple to do this. And you can just say new project. I'm just gonna pick like an organization. Yeah, basically you can have a name for this project. Let's say Bolt tutorial, right? We have a database password, and then yeah, you just hit create new project. The main thing that we need to do is we actually need to create this table called images, right? There's two ways to do this. One is you can manually actually do it through the table editor, I believe. Another way is you can write code to just do it, right? Using SQL, which I believe is a database language. It's like a programming language, but for databases. Devs are going to correct me because I'm like completely butchering these terms, but you get the hint, right? So the way you can do it is either manually create it or write some SQL code to do it. I'm going to write some SQL code and I'm going to ask Bolt to do it. It's not like I'm going to write it. So can you write some code to generate the images table in Supabase? SQL code is already in the Supabase /migration/images table. All right, let's check that out then. Oh, there you go. We're already here. Okay, cool. So I believe we just have to just copy paste this whole thing. There you go. Copy. We go here and then we go into the SQL editor of Supabase and you just paste the code here and hit run. Perfect. Success. No rows returned. That's awesome. Then we just go back to our database. Yeah, there you go. And now what we need to do is we need to connect the project URL and the API key, and we need to add those into the code base. And it's given me steps to do that on top here. So update your .env file with your Supabase credentials. So the .env file, according to my rudimentary understanding, is that it contains all the API keys and stuff like that. So we have our OpenAI API key here as well, the one we added in the last video. Yeah, essentially you need to add the Supabase database URL and on key. So you go down here, you have project API, you have the project URL. So you just hit copy and you replace this thing with project URL. Then you go into the API key, this one, and then just copy paste that here and then hit save. All right. So I think we should be done. So okay, let's try something, right? Let's say, I don't know, like snowy mountain. Okay, failed to generate or save image. Please try again. Okay, clearly there are some problems here, so let's just attempt the fix. As you can see, Bolt has made like a gallery tab and it's kind of made some changes to the main interface of the app. Right, to get this working properly, replace this thing in the .env file with your OpenAI API key. Make sure it's a valid API key from your OpenAI account. All right, we go into .env Let's find.env. There you go. I see. Interesting. So for some reason, our OpenAI key is not the right one. So let's just fix that. Again, if you remember the previous video, we went into our OpenAI dashboard. So you have the API keys here. You have the one for Bolt. I guess you'll have to create another one. All right. So let's just say Bolt.2. Copy this one. And then go in here and just paste it where it says paste OpenAI key and then save. Okay, so it's funny because it's giving me the error state. I think it's because it failed to save it or something like that. Yeah, error saving to Supabase. There you see. But you get the mountaintop, and now let's see if it showed up in our gallery. No, exactly. So yeah, I mean, let's try and run this SQL code as it says, or maybe just hit attempt fix here. Yeah, let's just do that actually. Let's see if it does its thing. This is what I was talking about, where Bolt kind of backs itself into a corner. Now it's creating authentication, which is a whole different layer of complications, which we really don't want, right? Let's say I don't want auth. You say I don't want auth, just need to store images in Supabase. Give me the SQL code for that. Keep it simple, very important prompt, because yeah, Bolt will just do things that are not needed, at least not needed at this stage, and then confuse itself. Sounds very familiar. Anyway, run this SQL in this SQL code. Okay, cool. Let's see what we need to run. And again, we do the same thing. I think we've done this already, but maybe it's added something new. Let's not question this. So we can just remove this one, this whole thing, and paste the new one and run. Okay, perfect, done. Just run the SQL code. What next? In my experience, like every time this thing shows up, right, like there may be potential problems and attempt to fix. That's always a little tricky because it sometimes doesn't diagnose the problem right, and it fixes something else or adds a completely new feature, and then that leads to another set of problems. So better to like just ask it what the problem is, and it kind of does a auto diagnosis, and I think that's like a better approach. Okay, so clearly you see two problems here. Let's just say remove all code related to authentication. Exactly. So this is what we needed, right? Like we just wanted to focus on storage and database operations. So yeah, hopefully this works. We're just gonna let it do its thing. Awesome. All right. I think it's good now. So let's do mountaintop, the Andes. All right, so we have the mountaintop. Do we have it saved is the question. We do not. All right, so what's the problem? Error saving to Supabase. Okay. There's an error saving to Supabase. What would be the problem? So again, like I said, don't like press the attempt fix, like try and like ask it what the problem might be. I've seen that it works better. Okay, the storage bucket needs to be marked as public. I have no idea how we do that. Maybe there's something here that we can change. Maybe roles. Policy. Oh yeah, there you go. Oh cool. Okay, so I just went into like authentication for this for Bolt tutorial, like our database, and there you see like to insert images into the database, it's only for authenticated roles. So I don't think anyone can do it right now. The app is public because it doesn't have authentication. How the hell do we change this? Okay, edit policy. Okay, I just remove this and then save. Awesome. I think it should work now. Like apply to public role. This is what we changed. You kind of have to like go back and forth with it a little bit, and this is where a lot of the existing Bolt tutorials are a little misleading, or like a lot of the content around Bolt is misleading because yeah, I mean it's not instant, but just the fact that one can do this as a non-technical person and you're literally talking to it like you talk to like a technical founder or someone and just going back and forth with them is really cool. All right, let's do it. Mountains next to the ocean. Awesome. All right, so we have the image. Great, great. And basically we need to see if it shows up in the gallery. Oh yeah, there you go. Awesome, cool. And so now we can just say winter in Spain, generate another one, and let's see how it stores it in the database. Sweet. Cool. So we have another image here, and if you go into gallery, yeah, there you go. It's perfect. So you have this gallery view now where you can see the date of creation, the prompt, I believe. Yeah, that's the prompt. And then the generated image, and you can just like download it from here. And all of this is getting stored on your Supabase database. Yeah, basically that's it. So yeah, in the next one, I think we're going to do user authentication. So only specific users can see the images they've generated. Right now, like everyone can see these, and then we'll deploy those changes. So for now, I'm just going to hit deploy on this version of the app. That's basically how you set up a database on Bolt and Supabase. Cheers.